Moving into connecting rod material. Most of the connecting rods in the performance aftermarket are made out of steel. However, there are some specialty rods made out of aluminum. For most of you, the right choice is steel. It can handle a lot of power and will have a long life. During the manufacturing process of a cast connecting rod, liquid metal is poured into a mold. When that cools back down, it's roughly the shape of the connecting rod, and it doesn't need a lot of machining to become a finished product. The manufacturing process of a forged connecting rod is quite a bit different. The steel is heated up and then pounded into the rough shape of a connecting rod. From there are many machining processes that get it down to the final product. Because there's so many machining processes involved to take it from the rough shape to the finished connecting rod, the forged rods are more expensive, however, much stronger than a cast rod, and that's why they're preferred in the aftermarket. There are a few reasons why someone would choose an aluminum rod over a steel rod. However, these are generally reserved for max effort racing applications. Parts that are designed to handle a lot of power are often heavier than stock parts because they use more material. The more rotating weight in the engine, the harder it is on the bearings. Aluminum rods are often lighter than steel rods, reducing this rotating weight. The lighter the parts means less abuse on the bearings. The next thing we'll discuss with aluminum rods is bearing life. The heavy-duty steel rod does not act as a very good shock absorber, so all the force from the combustion is driven right down the rod into the bearing that's sandwiched between the rod and the crank. A simple illustration of this is imagine replacing the shock absorbers on your car with bricks, and you're going to have to deal with all the vibration and harshness that's transmitted from the road directly to the chassis. In a max effort drag race engine that's using a lot of RPM and a lot of boost, you'll find that the bearings in a steel rod engine will have a shorter lifespan than the bearings in an aluminum rod engine. This is because the aluminum rod acts as a shock absorber and transmits less of the harshness from the top of the piston into the bearing. People that are racing high horsepower, max effort drag racing applications often tear their engines down during the season to make sure they can get through their events successfully. If you have one of these engines and you're experiencing accelerated bearing wear with a steel rod, it may be a good time to move to an aluminum rod to experience a longer bearing life. An aluminum rod will slowly change shape over time, whereas a steel rod in a healthy engine will stay the same. You'll often hear generalizations about how long an aluminum rod will last. People will say it will last this many passes or that many miles. This is really depending on how you're using the engine, and often the aluminum rod will last just as long as the aluminum piston is attached to. If you have any other questions about material or what's right for your engine build, feel free to give us a call. This segment is just a piece of the Real Street Bottom End Buyer's Guide. The full-length version can be viewed on our website by clicking the link below.